Let's begin with Madeline Rivera live from Washington with the latest on when we can expect this shutdown to officially end. Maddie, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Well, the vote the Senate took overnight is the first step in a series of procedural maneuvers. And of course, the House will have to vote on the package, too. So it will take a few more days before the government reopens. But Sunday's vote was the first clear sign that a bipartisan deal had been reached after a roughly 40-day stalemate. The Senate voted 60-40 to back a revamped GOP funding bill that would keep the government open until the end of January. 8 Democrats joined Republicans to pass the bill, including Senate Minority Whip Dick Durbin, Senators Tim Kaine, Catherine Cortez Masto, and Jackie Rosen, among others.
This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. Let me just say this. With the government open, we can focus on passing a full bipartisan budget for 2026.
I understand that not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement, but waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome. So let me be clear. No one in the Senate chamber wants to extend the ACA tax credits more than I do.
I joined this group to make sure that we could get important protections for federal employees. And what we have in this bill is the restoration of all the furloughed employees and a guarantee of their back pay.
So despite them touting what they did get, these Dems are facing criticism from their party because the package does not include a deal on Obamacare subsidies.
Democrats know they lost, so they gave up. They wasted 40 days. They put people through 40 days of hell because of insurance programs. All they want to do is put the money back into the insurance company's hands. But everybody knows now that thing with time is people do research. People finally see what this Obamacare and this ACA really is about. It's not really about helping Americans. It's really about putting money in the insurance companies' pockets. Insurance companies will charge us up the wazoo, and they still get money for the government. It makes no sense. So when you're looking at these things, this just gave the people 40 days to do their actual research. Yes, all they got out of this Democrats was a promise to vote on this in December, but we already know the verdict. Republicans aren't going to go in favor of this because insurance made a lot of money. Why would we give them another whatever billion or whatever $1 trillion that they want? Also, too, the Democrats are trying to give money to illegal immigrants so they can stack up the vote, so they can be looking favorable in the midterm elections. We all know what the Democrats are doing. They're paying for people to vote for them. They did it with the blacks. They did it with the Latinos. They did it with anybody that was hurting. So now they're doing it with the illegal immigrants, and they're doing it with the young people. So this is why, as Republicans, you have to look and see how can you get the young Republican back on your side. This is, especially after the death of Charlie Kirk, that I will say that is a minor blow to what the Republicans are doing. But what the Democrats are shifting to are illegal immigrants, transgender, because there's a lot of Republican lesbians and gays, so what they have left the Democratic Party. So really transgenders and illegal immigrants and stuff like that. So everybody knows the play of the Democrats. I think the reason why they had to give it up is because you got to follow the money. How many companies were losing money because of this? Walmart, Kroger, all these grocery chains were losing billions and billions of dollars. Okay? So when we look at the shutdown, you have to understand, why did the Democrats finally fold? It's because they got those phone calls for those big donors that said, you got to stop it because we're losing money. We'll take anything right now. Something's better than nothing. So this is why when you look into politics, don't look into just what they're saying. Look behind it. Understand where the money is coming from. Who's getting affected? All these big grocery chains are getting affected. Don't forget what we have coming up. We have Thanksgiving. We have Christmas. Those are the major times that these stores make a lot of money. Flights, right? They grounded flights. They were grounding 1,500 flights a day. So now we're going to ground those. Now the airlines are making money. You got two major industries getting impacted by this. So you don't think they made some phone calls to some of these Democrat senators and said, you guys need to figure it out? Because we're losing billions and billions of dollars. This is why this is done, and the reason why also too, we know that the Republicans know this too as well. We know that we know who the Democrats are funded by, and the Republicans know that. This was all about time, strategy, and not bending the line. But people will get upset and say, well, this and that. The things that the Republicans are saying no to, the ACA, crazy SNAP spending, all of that, that makes sense. We shouldn't be paying, as American people, we should not be paying high insurance costs when the insurance companies are getting subsidies from the government. That makes no sense. Okay? There should be some limits and restrictions on SNAP benefits. There's no way a person that is not working should be eating better than a person that is working and paying taxes. There's a lot of things that the Republicans are looking at and they're saying this doesn't make logical sense. Okay? This doesn't make logical sense. Okay? So some of the things that they also have in this deal is they're getting back pay for all the furloughed federal workers. That's amazing. The people that were furloughed because of this or people that weren't working for this are going to get back paid. So how can we say that the Republicans are crooks and thieves when they're paying the people that got laid off? Okay? They're going to have funding for critical departments, agriculture, veteran affairs, energy through the fiscal year. Okay, cool, for the rest of the year. A guaranteed December vote on continuing the ACA, which is Affordable Care Act, health subsidies. All that it was a pinky promise, but we know that the Republicans are not going to bend the line on that. It makes no sense for any of us to have the ACA. It did nothing for us, for our pockets. All it did was just raise the prices. This is why we have inflation. We have a lot of things that are in place that are just high prices. That's the reason why we have high inflation, is because we have high prices from things that are supposed to be getting money from the government. See what I'm saying? So the key Democrats, we have to really look at this, because this is especially coming up as far as the midterms too. You got to look at some of these Democrats that have voted yes. You got Jean Shaheen from New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire, Tim Kaine, Virginia, Dick Durbin, Illinois, Catherine Cortez Masto, Nevada, Jackie Rosen, Nevada, John Fetterman, Pennsylvania, Angus King, which is Maine caucus, which he's an independent caucus with Democrats. So I love John Fetterman. I feel like he's more of a Republican than a Democrat. I just feel like the Democrats got him first, right? But these are some states that you also have to look to for the midterms that might switch over or might be heavily favored to the Republicans. It's just about common sense, man. I just feel like right now we got a lot of wishing and giving, and I think the Republicans are like that parent that you like to have that parent, but they're too strict. So basically, they're like, you can't do that. It doesn't make no sense. Why are you spending money on this when you shouldn't? That's who the Republicans are. They're thinking like businessmen. Okay? So for this, we all see that this is going to be, I guess, some issues for the Democratic Party. I guess they're already asking for Chuck Schumer to get up out of there. They don't want him now. I think they're looking at AOC, which is, she has a lot of energy, but I don't know about her policies and what she's really trying to do. But if she's trying to promise people stuff for free, I'm not with that. I think any American is with that. You see what I'm saying? The Republicans are just, they're showing strength. They're showing strength. They're aligned. This is what happens when everybody's on the same page. Nobody's trying to be a superstar here. I think the only superstar we could say is Trump, right? Just because who he is. But we have the House, we have the Senate. Senate was Republican Thune. Then we have in the House, we have Mike Johnson. Everybody's aligned. Everybody's on the same page. Nobody's trying to be the superstar. They're just trying to get the job done. So that's what it's about. So when we're looking at success, everybody has to be on the same line. And when was the last time that we had a government and everybody's on the same line for the right thing? Nobody's trying to get credit. Everybody's just trying to do the right thing for the American people. That's what we need government. That's what government is for, is to protect the American people and make sure that we're straight. But you got to have everybody in line. You're tired of looking at, I'm guaranteed Americans are tired of looking at like Fox News, tired of looking at CNN, looking at all these things where it's like a soap opera, like a telenovela. This person's going against this person going against this person. How is that good for America? Okay, so the economic impact of this is, federal paychecks will restart immediately. So federal workers getting paid. Why not? Okay, airport, IRS, housing programs, small business services will resume within days, which is good. Everybody's trying to get these things done before the holidays. Holidays is coming up. Basically, it's already here. I can already hear Mariah Carey playing in the background. You know what I'm saying? All I want for Christmas is you. She's about to run it up, get the bag. But this is why they try to get this stuff done. They can't afford to have this go through the holidays because now it's really going to be something. Really, now that people are going to be pissed off. You see what I'm saying? So what's next is we got to wait for the House. The House's vote is expected within 48 hours. I think the House, Mike Johnson, he talked about it, you know, with the airports being closed right now, a lot of getting that back, and they're going to be working overnight to get that vote in. And then after that, the president expected to sign immediately afterwards. So, but this stuff still takes time, right? So by mid-November, most government functions will be back online. So I don't know when the SNAP, EBTs, and stuff will be back online, but I guarantee it's going to be back online before that Thanksgiving hit. So everybody's going to have a good Thanksgiving. Everybody's going to have a good Christmas, you know, and they're going to have this vote on what you call it on the ACA in December. That's the major political battle, but it's not really a battle, you know. All the Republicans are not in favor of the ACA. And now you're starting to see that we got some Democrat senators that's not for it either. So this is just a fight, you know, that we as the people have to understand and do your research. But what I love seeing on social media is that people are doing their research and understanding what this ACA is. It is not good for the American people because you see how much you're paying for health insurance.
Only includes a guarantee on a vote for the tax credits, far from what progressives and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had pushed for.
Tonight, 8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote. We got a lot of work to do, but to be honest with you, tonight was not a good night.
Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna is already targeting Schumer, saying Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop health care premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? Moving forward, senators need to reach a time agreement before holding a final vote on the package. Then it will only need a simple majority to pass the upper chamber. Todd.
Miles to go before we sleep. Maddie, thank you. With that, let us bring in former advisor to Donald Trump, Jason Miller. And Jason, you heard in Maddie's report the Democrats touting all of the things that they got. But to me, they didn't really get anything. All they got was a promise to hold a vote on Obamacare subsidies. So, Jason, what was the point of all this?
Well, exactly. There was no point. This entire shutdown was unnecessary. It was unneeded. And the only reason why it happened is because Senator Chuck Schumer and other Senate Democrats are scared to death of the extremist wing of their party, the AOCs, and they're worried they're going to get primary challenges. I really think that there's going to be a reckoning here, both from Americans, travelers who were stranded at airports or had flights canceled, members of the military who had to stand in line for food banks because they didn't have money coming in because of what the Senate Democrats did. And also, I think there'll be a reckoning, as we saw from Ro Khanna saying this about Senator Schumer, from the extremist left within the Democrat base saying, Chuck Schumer, why did you cave? So this was completely unnecessary. It was unneeded all along. Senator John Thune said, just simply pass the continuing resolution, open government, then we could talk about health care. But instead, Chuck Schumer decided to hold everybody hostage.
Again, the exact same continuing resolution that everybody voted for back in March. Nothing changed except for the primaries from the left that you just mentioned. For the rest of this week, Senate Democrats can really do this the easy way, or they can do this the hard way. They can fast track the process to get this to the House quickly, or they can force it to just drag on all week long. Which path do you think the Democrats in the Senate will choose?
I think even though many of the Senate Democrats will echo the thoughts of Bernie Sanders saying that they didn't like this vote, I think the reality is that the vast majority, the biggest group of Senate Democrats are glad that some of their colleagues caved because this is what everybody wanted. There was no one at home who was saying, Senators, thank you for keeping the government shut down. This was massive chaos. We saw what it did to the markets. We saw from Secretary Bessent saying the impact that this has had on the economy. And Americans want to get going with life. And we don't want to be held up and held hostage by nonsense political games.
All right, I'm going to put.
That's what this was a big political game. But you have to, as the American people, when you watching this, I hope you watching this and thank you for watching this and make sure you subscribe. But always understand this. You're going to start hearing people from the left, from the radical left. They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. Example, Mamdani. Huge example, right? He's going to tell people everything you want to hear just for your votes. We as a people have to be smart and be educated, understanding what these people are going to say on the left, the far radical left. They're going to say things to make you want to vote for them. They're going to promise you the world. So you as a people, or we as a people, have to be smart. If they're going to promise you everything for free and everything cheap, just go back to the Obamacare, the ACA. They said that this was going to cheapen insurance. It didn't. And now they're still fighting for that to be into place. It's not because they want you to have cheap insurance. It's because they want to get paid by the insurance companies. Insurance is ridiculously high in all aspects. So we know insurance runs the world. We know this. But we as a people should not be part of something where we still have to pay the insurance companies and the insurance companies getting money from the government. That's called double dipping. So we as a people, we have to be smart. If we're not smart, we're going to fall for the radical left when they're telling you, we'll give you everything for free and cheap, because it never happens. Mom Donnie is going to be the prime example to why it doesn't happen. You see what he did. He promised New Yorkers, young New Yorkers who don't know what hard work is, transgenders who feel like they're being targeted, right? So now what's going to happen is that far left is going to tell every young Democrat, every young kid, every person that's feel like they're being slighted, we'll give you everything and we'll protect you. Don't fall for that. We are on track to make America great again by making Americans want to work and be better people by working and providing for themselves. There's no way that we could be a great people if we have to rely solely on the government giving us things. So as a people, I really want us to block out the noise, because it's going to come. It's going to come as far as saying, we'll give you everything. We'll give you free grocery stores. We'll give you free buses. We'll give you everything free. Just vote for us. They did that with black people. They did that with the Latinos. They did that with the gays and lesbians. Look what's happened. They've all left. The people that have common sense in those races and those types of groups have left the Democratic Party. So the Democratic Party are looking for new people to fool, to get into office, to get these people to get paid again. So we as Americans got to be smarter. We got to start thinking with the right head and understand, are they really for us? Can they really give us free things? There's no such thing as free in life. The people that work hard for things, the people that really grind it out, became successful, they didn't get anything free. So if you're a young person and you're waiting for the government to give you something free, just always know there's strings attached. There's ways you're going to get screwed. Okay? This is why when you're listening to a Democrat, you listen to them saying, we'll give you this, we'll give you cheap this, cheap this. Just go back and look at what the ACA did to America. Look at what the rapid giving of food stamps to illegal immigrants did to America. Look at the money that was given from the Democrats, that was given to not us as American people, that were given to illegal immigrants. Look and see what they did and how they did it and how they messed up America. As a person that's looking at this and just understanding, why would you as a government give illegal immigrants everything free but not your people? This is why the American people are waking up. This is why a lot of people are like, you know what? This makes a lot of sense to not vote for them, because they have not taken care of us. They ran the price up and then they gave money out, but they didn't give it to us, and they protected illegal immigrants more than they protected us because they were worried about the vote. What values do the Democrats really have outside of lowering price for health insurance? Because the Obama deal was supposed to lower the price of health insurance, and it didn't. So when we talk about this and we think about, oh, I want to vote red or blue, do your research. Oh, people don't like Republicans. It's because Republicans reward people that work for what they got. Yeah. So if you have a business, you'll get business grants. If you have a lot of money, you'll get tax savings. It's just how it is. It's they're rewarding the people that works hard. So be the person that works hard and not be the person with their hand out. Okay? It's going to make us stronger if we stay with these Republicans, because they're going to make sure they reward the people that work hard. Every industry that you're in, you will be taken care of. But if you start listening to this noise of, I'll make it easier for you, I'll give you free money. I'll give you free health insurance. I'll give you free buses. Go back and look at the Obama deal. Go back and see how they gave money to illegal immigrants. It gave them hotels and everything. When we got our own kids on the street, can't eat. Go look at that stuff and say, this is the people you work for. And now the Democrats are going to have the far left, the radical left, like Imam Donnie. Okay? So what does that mean? We're going to have a lot of people coming in from this country. The doors are going to be opened up again. What happened when the doors opened up? Everything went down. The economy went down. So we as Americans have to protect what we have and have the right people in place to make sure that we are just protected. We don't want to be given things. Yes, if we have hard times, yes, that's different. But we want to be rewarded for what we're working for. And that's what the Republicans are all about. So do your research, and you see how this is. The Republicans are trying to make America cheaper. They're trying to tackle a lot of issues. Why? Because it's affecting our pocket. Health insurance is a big one. Food, the SNAPs, all of that. Bringing that stuff down, allowing people to only get certain items. That helps our dollar because that's going to make the food cheaper. See what I'm saying? So do your research. But you see that 8 Democrats went over to get this thing done. It's because of the pressure that they're getting. And we already know how the December vote's going to turn out. The ACA would be done, and then we're going to start to see how much money we're going to save next year.